You're watching the NCAA Baseball Regionals presented by Capital One. Perfect Friday night for baseball in the Pacific Northwest. The Willamette Valley Eugene Regional, PK Park. It is the Big 12 tournament champs, the 2 seed, the Arizona Wildcats, and the 4 seed Utah Valley Wolverines, the WAC tournament champions. A look at our regional and the shocker. The first home team and #1 seed to be eliminated, the Oregon Ducks, bounced by Cal Poly earlier today. So the Mustangs are still around. The Ducks are done. And now we get to the winner's bracket, Arizona and Utah Valley. Along with Wes Clements and our ESPN crew, Roxy Bernstein with you. And the shocker, Oregon goes 2-Q.
It's amazing. And what's that saying? That's why we play the games, right? You never know what's going to happen in the postseason, especially college baseball. I mean, it continues to give. Unfortunately for Duck fans, their team is going home.
Well, the Arizona Wildcats got just enough offense yesterday, hung on a 3-2 win over Cal Poly to advance to the winner's bracket.
You're not kidding about just enough. This is in the 2nd inning. Tommy Splaine hits a triple to right center to get the Cats on the board for their first run. And then right behind him is Easton Breifogel, or I should say 2 hitters later, hit the dinger to put them up 3-0. They didn't get another hit the rest of the game.
They hung on for the win, got outstanding pitching on the other side today. Utah Valley last night picked up the first tournament win in school history. Jimmy DeAnda drove in 3 of the Wolverines' 6 runs against Oregon.
Well, for me, he was the star of the game for the Wolverines. A tremendous at bat in the 3rd inning. He gets a single to left to get the Wolverines on the board. But the big hit was his 2nd hit up the middle, which ended up being the game winner for the 6th run for the Wolverines.
So Utah Valley in their 2nd NCAA tournament appearance, trying for their 2nd win after they got their 1st last night. They're taking on a 4-time national champion. Arizona, Utah Valley. First pitch, lineups next. Saturday night baseball from the Pacific Northwest. PK Park, home of the Oregon Ducks, the host of this Eugene Regional. Although Oregon eliminated, there are 3 teams remaining in this winner's bracket game, and the Arizona Wildcats 40-18. And Chip Hale has Mason White, who was the most outstanding player in the Big 12 tournament. After last year, he was the MVP of the Pac-12 tournament. And a deep lineup for Arizona. The offense for the Wildcats yesterday came from hitters 8 and 9.
It did. A lot of contribution from the bottom of the lineup. We talked to Chip Hale, and he says, hey, in order to win, you need contribution from everybody in the lineup. Fortunately for them yesterday, Roxy, very rarely you're going to see a team that doesn't get a hit after the 2nd inning, end up with a W, but that's what happened.
Arizona in this winner's bracket game against Utah Valley, and the Wolverines right-hander Colton Kennedy makes the start. He's 5-4 with a 6.19 ERA. And it's hard to gauge the pitching numbers for teams like Utah Valley because of the altitude they play in. But Kennedy, you see the strikeout numbers, which are impressive.
They're really impressive, but the number to the right of his punch-outs, 31, is the key. He has to limit his free passes against his Arizona Wildcat offense. It's a must.
Utah Valley is a designated home team in this matchup as they try to even it out as far as the tournament goes about being home and away. Arizona was home in their win against Cal Poly yesterday, and the Wolverines were the visiting team against the Oregon Ducks. So therefore, Arizona plays the role of visitors tonight, and Utah Valley occupies the home dugout on the other side.
Very rarely when we're up in the Northwest here in Oregon do you see sunglasses on at this time of night. Normally it's cloudy.
You got to get up here more often.
Well, I'm
this
up
time
here,
of the year. It starts
I'm up
to get
here
nice.
Basically every time of the year this year. It's just not in Eugene. We normally land in Eugene and drive 35 miles somewhere else.
To Corvallis?
Some teams there, yeah.
They survived elimination earlier today as they beat TCU.
They did.
In the winner's bracket game at that regional up in Corvallis, which is about 45 minutes away from PK Park. St. Mary's, the West Coast Conference Tournament champions, taking on the USC Trojans. Like Oregon, moving from the Pac-12 and to the Big Ten, and USC, the most national championships of any school. They have 12, and they picked up their first NCAA tournament win in about 10 years with that victory yesterday against TCU. Brendan Summerhill leads it off for Arizona, and it's ball one from Colton Kennedy.
And of course, Oregon State took care of TCU, and TCU is going home.
Summerhill 375, 3 homers for the junior. 0 for 4 against Cal Poly yesterday. And he fouls the 1-0 pitch back, 1-1.
Now, Summer is what they affectionately call him, but Summerhill missed pretty lengthy time this year with an injury to his hand. He's projected to be a #1 draft pick in the upcoming MLB draft.
Still was honorable mention all Big 12. Brendan Summerhill. Last year was all Pac-12. Hit 8 homers a year ago for Arizona, and just 3 because of the limited games this year. Colton Kennedy, the 2-1. And that's lined to right center, and the Wildcats off to a start. Summerhill on his way to second, stumbling on the warning track, then picking it up. Jaden Smith in right center, and a leadoff double for Brendan Summerhill, and that's how the ball game begins.
Well, he jumps on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, middle, and sets up the Wildcats with a runner at second and no outs. And as we talk about it all the time, Rox, I think it's so important to get a lead in any game in the postseason. Get a lead early.
Here's Aaron Walton. 305, 10 homers for the junior. Walton, a transfer from Samford. Honorable mention all Big 12 this year. Struggling, just 2 for his last 19. Kennedy delivers, and it's ball 1 to Walton.
And you mentioned the transfer from Samford. Trip Couch is the recruiting coordinator for the Wildcats. He used to be in the SEC, but he's one of the best in the country. And he found a jewel in Walton.
Tripp spent time at South Carolina. Got under this one. In back is short, and with the shift, backpedaling and giving way to the center fielder coming in. Jaden Smith makes the catch on the Oregon logo out there, and Summerhill has to stay at second base. Walton retired. That'll bring up Mason White for Arizona.
It's kind of interesting. Longo, the second, the shortstop for the Wolverines, kept going and going and going, and you could see he's kind of saying, "Does anybody call me off?" And then here comes Jaden Smith to do just that.
328, 16 homers for Mason White. 66 batted in, tied for 4th in the Big 12 in homers and 2nd in RBIs.
There's a great changeup, and again, he features a changeup, but he's also got this little breaking ball that his head coach Nate Rasmussen had told me about prior to the game, and sometimes it plays like a changeup.
Brendan Summerhill dives back to second base. White went 7 for 11 at the Big 12 tournament. He hit 3 home runs, drove in 7, including 4 for 4 with a pair of homers against West Virginia last Friday. 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch against Cal Poly yesterday. And Waite down the right field line. Gone! Off the pole! 2-0 Arizona. 17th for Mason White.
This is some advanced hitting by Mason White, and what I mean by that, The previous pitch was thrown again by Kennedy, and this is making an adjustment inside the at-bat, and that's exactly what Mason does. Through the same pitch, he stayed on it, kept it fair, 2-0 Cats.
Adonys Guzman. Strike one on the Arizona catcher and cleanup batter. .310 with 7 homers for Guzman. Transfer from Boston College, his second year at Arizona. Colton Kennedy. And it's 1-1. Guzman 0 for 3, struck out twice against Cal Poly in snapping a 7-game hitting streak yesterday in the win against the Mustangs. 1-2 on the catcher Guzman.
And of course, Guzman doesn't strike out very much. You mentioned 2 yesterday. He only has 30 for the entire year.
Honorable mention all Big 12. 1-2. And it's up and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and Guzman.
Came over with Kevin Vance from Boston College, the Wildcats pitching coach.
Two and 2. Here it comes. And a full count. Kennedy, the abbreviated windup. And it's strike 3 called outside corner. Catches Guzman looking. And there's 2 away in the Arizona first.
Well, Guzman didn't like it. Turned around and took a look at home plate umpire Seth Buckminster, but I think Guzman realized, hey, I'm the catcher also, and I'm going to need that same pitch. We'll see it. It's right on the outside part.
2 outs. Maddox Mikalakis, the Arizona third baseman. 282. And it's strike 1 on Mikalakis. 0 for 3 yesterday against the Mustangs. On the all-tournament team at the Big 12 tournament when Arizona went 3-0 in Arlington, Texas last weekend. Last outing for Kennedy, he went 7 1/3 against Sacramento State.
That was a combined no-hitter.
Combined no-hitter, and Kennedy pitched the first 7 1/3, throwing 108 pitches. It was a 9-1 win for Utah Valley. And Kennedy struck out 9, walked 3, did give up a run. He also hit 2 batters.
Why not?
7 1/3 no-hit innings. And the combined no-hitter against the Hornets to help Utah Valley win the WAC tournament. 2 and 2 on Maddox Mikalakis. Here it comes. And a full count.
Speaking of no-hitters, didn't Wright State go into the 6th or 7th inning yesterday against Vanderbilt with a no-hitter?
Through 6.
Through 6. And then they made that change, and how many hitters did it take? To break
First one.
First one.
Anybody but him. And then once he's out of the game. Full count and Mikalakis. 2 outs. Colton Kennedy. And it's lined. That is the shortstop on the right side of second base. Making the catch. Take it back. That's the third baseman, Nate Bach, who had shifted over to the right side of second base. But Arizona getting on the board, and Mason White. Mason White, a 2-run homer, giving Arizona the early lead against Utah Valley. This winner's bracket game in Eugene. In the lineup for Eric Rasmussen and the Utah Valley Wolverines, the WAC tournament champs, 33 and 27. And Mason Strong, the cleanup batter for Utah Valley, in a deep lineup that will hit home runs and they will steal bases.
They will do a lot of good. I mean, when you think about Utah Valley, the first thing that comes to your mind is offense and offense and offense and then more offense. 309 is what they hit and led the WAC conference. They were first in runs, second in doubles, first in home runs, first in slugging. They actually were first in hit by pitches as well. On base percentage, same thing. Hit over. But I think the one thing that's forgotten about Utah Valley is they steal bases too. Hit a lot of home runs, but they steal a lot of bases.
Raul Garzar on the mound for Arizona, 2-0 with a sparkling 2.18 ERA. And the first pitch is fouled off of the plate, and going down was Luke Iverson off his foot. 286, 16 homers for the Utah Valley right fielder. Second team all WAC this year from St. George down in the southern part of Utah. 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run against Oregon last night. And Iverson leads the WAC this year in runs scored. Hit by pitches, he's the all-time record holder for Utah Valley. He's been hit 59 times in his UVU career. Grounded foul by Iverson, who's tied for 4th in the country in hit by pitches. One and 2 on Iverson, the leadoff batter. Garzar fires that one outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And it's not even close. Who's second on the all-time hit batters list. And the count is run full, and Iverson leading it off for the Wolverines.
Had a big RBI single right after his teammate Deanda got him on the board.
And it's grounded through the right side, and a start for Utah Valley. Luke Iverson singles through the right side, and a base runner for UVU. Jaden Smith coming up, their center fielder.
That was a get me over, basically a BP fastball from Garzar, and Iverson took advantage of it. And this is exactly what the Wolverines wanted to do, right? Come right back against the Cats after the Cats put 2 runs on the board. Is get some traffic out there for Garzar. There is not a free space in this Wolverines lineup. There's no free out, not a chance.
Shift on for Jaden Smith to pull in the infield. And Garzar's pitch is fouled away by the Utah Valley center fielder, hitting .395. Despite going 0 for 4 against Oregon last night, snapping his 9-game hitting streak. And he has an on-base percentage over 500, #1 in the WAC. Doesn't hit for power, but he gets on base. And he was hit by a pitch. 19th time he's been hit this season, and Utah Valley's got 2 on with nobody out.
That right there is just a cutter. And on the left leg. And if you're wondering, does Utah Valley bunt? No, they don't bunt.
Landon Fry, 290, 16 homers. Second baseman for the Wolverines, Garzar, and it's ball 1.
Now, if this was Larry Lee's Cal Poly Mustangs, you'd be thinking a different thought on what they might do, but not this Wolverine club. They do not bunt.
Near third, fielded, fair ball to second, bobbled, and safe. No, they're calling him out.
Wow.
They're saying it was on the transfer.
Wow.
They forced the runner at third.
Nate Rasmus has already signaled that he wants to find out if he's going to review this thing.
And the second base umpire, Scott Latender, signaling it was on the transfer, and that's why he called him out. It was a voluntary action to take the ball out of the mitt, and it didn't just fall out of there in his interpretation. The lead runner is forced on a 5 unassisted at third base. And it is under review, and the umpires will get together to discuss it first.
Upon first look from up here, it did seem very close at best that there was any possession at all by Caulfield.
There is at least one out on the play.
Correct.
In case you're wondering, the ground ball is not reviewable if it's fair or foul.
Utah Valley is challenging the call of out at second base. The previous play is under review.
So it is under review. A Utah Valley challenge for Eric Rasmussen.
And it's a big one.
Yeah.
Early in this game, you're talking about the difference between one out and runners at first and second and 2 outs.
Okay, here's a look at it. Did he catch it, and then as he was trying to take it out of the mid?
No.
I don't think he ever had it.
No, I didn't think so either when I first saw it. I think it gets the heel of his glove, quite frankly, which would be the closest to his palm.
I'd be stunned if this is not overturned.
Yeah,
just by
I'm with
what
you,
I've
Rock.
seen right there.
Upon first sight, it didn't look like he had any possession whatsoever. We'll get a look. We can slow it down a little bit here. No, there's a snow cone at the top. You can see
he just dropped it.
Yeah. It just looks like there was a snow cone. It wasn't his heel. It looked like it was the top of the glove, but there's no sign right there that there was any possession at any time.
Okay, that was a quick review.
After review, the call on the field has been overturned to safe. Utah Valley will retain their challenge and have 2 challenges remaining.
Well, that was a quick review, Rocks. We're not used to that here.
And that was an easy review. It is a fielder's choice and an error charge to Garen Caulfield. 1 out, first and second. Arizona gets the first out of the inning. And the cleanup out of the catcher, Mason Strong, coming up for Utah Valley. 376 for Strong, 11 homers, 66 batted in. The WAC tournament MVP. Went 11 for 20 with a couple of homers, drove in 7 at the WAC tournament in Arizona last weekend. And 2 homers for Strong against Abilene Christian in their championship game. First team all WAC this year. Cars are missing. It's 2-0. Is Strong second in the WAC in hitting, 3rd in RBIs, 4th in runs scored. The former #1 prospect out of high school in Utah, went to BYU for a year. Last 2 years at Oklahoma, transferred to Utah Valley, and a half swing bouncer foul.
Well, it'd be a big lift for Utah Valley to get a run on the board, coming right back after the Cats put 2 on the board in their top half.
Strong 1 for 3, drove in 2 against the Ducks last night. Jaden Smith at second, Landon Fry at first. Raul Garzar, his 7th start of the year. Grounded past third, foul. Just wide of the bag. And Garzar has had an interesting year where he started in the bullpen, had some success, went to the rotation, back to the bullpen, started a couple of midweeks, back to the bullpen, and now is starting for the 3rd consecutive weekend. Final weekend of the regular season went 4 2/3, giving up a run and no decision against Houston. Didn't go the required 5 innings for the victory. Rounded left side and through from Strong. Jaden Smith rounding 3rd. Easton Breifogel throw is cut. And an RBI single for Strong, and Utah Valley's on the board.
Well, it's a break-in pitch from Garzar, and it's middle, and Strong doesn't miss it. And just like that, the Wolverines are on the board.
Early mound visit for Arizona pitching coach Kevin Vance, with Garzar struggling here in the first inning. A run in for Utah Valley.
This is probably more so, hey, let's just breathe. Again, for a lot of these pitchers, it's the first time they've been in postseason games. And I mean, there's nerves everywhere. It doesn't matter. There's nerves in the stands. There's nerves out there. There's nerves up here for you when you're sitting next to me all the time.
There's a reason why I'm nervous. Plate umpire Seth Buckminster goes out to break up the meeting. And Garzar pitched great in his last start. It was last Friday against West Virginia at the Big 12 tournament in a 12-1 Arizona win. Garzar went career best 6 innings on 84 pitches, 6 shutout innings in a 12-1 win. Dominic Longo II, the Utah Valley shortstop, and it's strike one. An even 300 with 10 homers for Longo. Struck out 3 times last night, going 0 for 4. He's hit safely in 10 of the last 12 for Utah Valley. Line to right, slicing toward the corner, going back into the corner. It's off the wall. The carom played by Summerhill. Around third, into score. Landon Fry, the runners had to hold to make sure the ball landed and was not caught. Mason Strong to third, and a long single off the right field wall for Dominic Longo II, and we're tied at 2.
This is a fastball on the outside part. And Longo II doesn't try to do anything with it except go with it. And you see Summerhill misplays it a little bit.
Here's Nate Bach now. Check swing foul.
Very rarely are you going to hit ball off the right field wall and end up on first base. But to your point, both runners had to make sure that ball was not going to get caught.
And he didn't want to overrun one of the runners on base ahead of him. Skies this one behind the plate. Guzman gives it a look. And just does run out of room. It gets into the second row. 0-2 on Nate Bach. Scored a run last night, 0 for 3, drew a walk against Oregon.
Now Longo to second at first, 21 out of 29 stolen bases. This team will run, especially in a situation like this with 2 strikes.
Raul Garzar laboring through this first inning. His 20th pitch of the frame. Grounded right into the shift, fielded by Garen Caulfield. Double play. That's what Garzar needed. A hard grounder right at his second baseman, was stationed on the left side of second base. 2-2 after 1 in Eugene. ESPN is the home for the NCAA College Baseball Regionals for around the clock. Multi-game coverage. Scan the QR code right there. ESPN Plus subscribers can get access to expanded coverage with Squeeze Play.
Would you believe I've called the QR code a barcode?
That doesn't shock me in the slightest. Garen Caulfield for Arizona, 6, 7, and 8 in the second. Hard grounded to short, scooped up. Dominic Longo II. And the stretch at first, and keeping his back foot on the bag with C.J. Collier at first base, 1 gone.
Rick Allen, the first base umpire, made sure, pointed. He's pointing to Collier's foot. It was on the bag.
1 away, and that'll bring up Andrew Kane, the Arizona DH. 250 with 6 homers for Kane. Sophomore from Oro Valley in Arizona. The overshift on, and Kane takes ball 1 from Colton Kennedy.
Now Kane hit the tremendous home run in the top of the 9th inning at the Big 12 tournament, which knotted up and won. Arizona went on to score a run and win that game and the championship.
As they beat TCU in that championship last Saturday at Globe Life Field in Arlington.
Now both of these clubs haven't lost a game in almost 2 weeks.
The 2-0 to Kane. And it's a strike of the knees. The overshift on by Utah Valley. The second baseman, Fry, is out in shallow right. The third baseman, Bach, is on the right side of second. The shortstop, Longo, is the guy that you see on the left side of the infield playing up to guard against a bunt. 3-1 on Kane. Kane walked in the game and scored a run yesterday. And it's ball 4, and he draws a walk here. First issued by Kennedy. One out base runner for Arizona to bring up Tommy Splaine. First baseman for Arizona, the 8-hitter. 271, a couple of home runs for Splaine. Had an RBI triple against the Mustangs yesterday. He's hit safely in 5 of the last 6 for Arizona. Kane at first. And the unique hold, which we noticed yesterday from Utah Valley, they're not holding the runner on the base at first. But CJ Collier is hovering near the bag. And right in front of the runner, Andrew Kane.
Well, there's not one way to play first base, and there's some that elect to do that, but I think...
But that is unconventional.
It is, because CJ Collier is about 2 feet in closer to home plate, and that's what last night there was a pickoff from the left-hander throwing for the Wolverines that Mark Wasikowski came out and said, hey, can he do that, or is that an unoccupied base that he's throwing to? And that was the question. And there's a fine line right there, and
Splaine shoots one out of play down the right side. And it's 2-1 on a comfortable Saturday night.
Beautiful.
70 degrees. There's a breeze blowing out toward right center at the moment. Partly cloudy skies up above PK Park.
Would you believe there's sun above those clouds?
Yes, there is.
Okay. I'm just saying, would you believe? That's all. Would you believe that I knew that?
I never know what to believe when you say something, believe it or not. Move to first by Kennedy.
And there you see the move, what we were talking about from Collier at first base. Last night, he didn't make that move towards first base. And he was warned last night, and we see him make an adjustment tonight.
Kennedy to 3-1. Out of play, full count on Tommy Splaine. Splaine from Los Gatos in the Bay Area, down near San Jose. Attended Los Gatos High School. Runner goes, Splaine shoots it through the right side and a hit. Around second, Andrew Kane will get to third easily. The question was, with the runner going, is he had to avoid getting hit by the baseball, which he did, and a sharp single by Splaine, runners to the corners with 1 out.
Well, it's a great job by Splaine. This is a fastball, middle, and what Splaine has done a great job of is use the entire field as a hitter. And with 2 strikes there, he's trying to put the ball in play. That's the fastball more away than middle. And to your point, Roxy, Andrew Kane did a good job of avoiding that baseball. Sets up the Cats first and third, 1 out, opportunity to score a run with an out.
And a mound visit for the pitching coach for Utah Valley. It's Kyle Treadway at the hill.
Former teammate of the head coach, Nate Rasmussen, up at Pacific University in Oregon,
which is up near Portland in Forest Grove, Oregon.
That's I stretched myself to get that out, and you had Forest Grove.
Yeah, I'm the guy that's got to one-up you all the time.
Yeah, I understand. Listen, I get it. I know my place.
So after the mound visit, another jam for Colton Kennedy to deal with. After Mason White hit a 2-run homer in the first. The 9-hitter Easton Breyfogle homered against Cal Poly yesterday. 242, 5 bombs, and it's ball 1 to Breyfogle.
And if you're wondering, Breyfogle can absolutely fly. Very hard to double him up on a ground ball.
Edina, Minnesota. Hometown for Easton Breyfogle, who is the #1 prospect coming out of high school in the state of Minnesota. A few years ago, his dad Todd played at Kansas. Jayhawks were eliminated today.
They sure were.
Todd Breyfogle drafted by the A's in the 55th round of 1989. The then Oakland A's. And I'm still going with Oakland.
Well, why wouldn't you? I mean, they haven't left.
Well, they did. They're in Sacramento.
Well, they're still up there. I mean, till they actually drop an anchor in Las Vegas, they're Oakland.
Reaching for it, left center for Breyfogle. Running catch, no, it's dropped by Jaden Smith. Andrew Kane is in. Tommy Splaine stops at second as Jaden Smith couldn't hang on. Smith had a good read on it, it appeared. Just didn't secure it.
It did. He did. Breyfogle was fooled a little bit. It's an off-speed pitch on the outside part, and you're not going to hardly ever see Jaden Smith drop a ball like that. You're just not going to. It's not going to happen.
So it'll be a sacrifice fly for Breyfogle, and an error charge of the center fielder Smith and an RBI. 3-2 Arizona, 2-on-1 out. Back to the top of the order, and Brendan Summerhill. Both teams' defense has been shaky early in this game. Double for Summerhill in the first, and he looks at a strike. It's 0-2. (3-2) Wildcats.
And of course, in the postseason, pitch counts are so important. And Kennedy's just threw 1 1/3 and already at 39 pitches.
It took him 3 pitchers to work through the ball game last night for Utah Valley. And a strikeout is Summerhill, chasing a high 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Second strikeout for Colton Kennedy, and there's 2 outs.
Just went up the ladder on Summerhill. Got a little run on that fastball.
2-on-2 out for Aaron Walton, a fly out in the first inning. Tommy Splaine at second, Easton Breyfogle at first. Jammed, and he lifts it back out of play. A couple of conference tournament champions in his winner's bracket matchup. Arizona, their first run through with the Big 12 this year, winning the Big 12 tournament championship after last season they won the last installment of the Pac-12 as we know it tournament championship. In a walk-off fashion.
Tommy Splaine with the walk-off hit.
The runner out there at second base. And Utah Valley, after a rough lead up to the WAC tournament, ran the table down in Arizona. Strike 3 called. Walton gone looking. Third strikeout for Kennedy. Arizona gets a run to go back on top.
Colton Kennedy with a nasty slide piece to end this inning.
Some of the headlines around Saturday, and elimination starting to take place in the NCAA tournament. Oregon, the first host and #1 seed in a regional to be out of the field. Wright State, their first tournament win since 2016. After they had a lead against Vandy yesterday, couldn't hang on. And Alabama, Crimson Tide are out.
2 and out.
1-0 on Brody Block, bottom of the order for Utah Valley in the last of the second. And that just missed off the outside from Raul Garazar. 2-0 on Block, 329 with a homer for the Utah Valley DH. Fouled off by Brody Block. It's 2-1.
I think Auburn fans are happy that the Crimson Tide got eliminated.
I don't think they're shedding a tear. Block scored a couple of runs against Oregon last night. Fooled there, he went around. Like, I don't think the fans up the road in Corvallis, even though the Beavers lost yesterday, won today, are all that upset that Oregon got eliminated earlier today. Just off the outside to Block.
I mean, they don't like each other, the Beavers and Ducks?
You know, it's probably gotten heightened with what's transpired in the last year.
Yes. Do tell us after this next hitter.
Strike 3 called. Block thought it was ball 4. And he's gone looking for a strikeout for Raul Garazar.
It's a fastball right at the bottom part of the zone. And plate umpire Seth Buckminster said that's good enough for me. Right at the knees. Adonys Guzman says, I'll give you a good look.
C.J. Collier, the Utah Valley first baseman, strike 1. 333, 8 homers for Collier. Transfer from Pacific University up in Forest Grove, Oregon. Was a Division III All-American and was the Northwest Conference Player of the Year last year. Led Division III, hitting 23 homers a year ago.
Same school as the skipper went to.
Fouled away. Oh, 2 on Collier, 1 out. Oregon fans still hanging around. They might as well get their money's worth as this place was sold out for the weekend. Line drive to left. Easton Breifogel snares it. 2 gone.
Well, where else are you going to go right now? Where else would you rather be than a baseball yard? And when it's postseason for college baseball.
Yeah, Wes, but if my team was eliminated.
Yeah. You trying to tell me
I'd be,
if you were a Cal,
I don't know, a little upset.
For those you don't know, Roxy went to Cal. He's a Cal Bear fan. So if Cal was in the same position, you wouldn't show up at the yard? Keep in mind, you've already paid for the ticket.
Probably not.
Come on. You're just going to donate.
Jimmy DeAnda drove in 3 last night. 287, 5 homers. He's hit 9 of the last 11.
See that?
Where's he going? Come on.
Well, apparently he's listening to you. Somebody
they're escorting him.
Well, in any event, somebody got to him and said, Roxy Bernstein said there's no reason for you to be here.
The only thing I'm guessing is maybe that area you can't sit there because They're not expecting a full house tonight, and that's usually for the overflow crowd. Down the left field line. They want to fill the grandstand for security reasons. They got to keep the crowd under control.
Well, he looked like he could keep the crowd under control.
Just missed.
Boy, this is a carbon copy to the at-bats last night that Jimmy DeAnda had, Roxy. Gets behind early and just battles and battles and battles. A new father recently.
And then the last couple of months. Swing and a miss, struck him out. 1-2-3 second, and Guzman completes a strikeout down at first. And a much-needed clean inning for Raul Garzar. Going to the third, and it's Jimmy DeAnda went down over the bag at first, and he's hurt. That's trouble for Utah Valley. Well, this was Jimmy DeAnda trying to leg out after swinging at strike three and in the, what would be the dirt, picked up by the catcher Adonys Guzman. And you see him go crashing over the bag. Right, immediately clutching that right hamstring.
Yeah, it looks like his right leg. He knew it when he was down on the ground, and it's a huge loss. He doesn't have the gaudy numbers that a lot of his teammates have, but he's always in the middle of something good happening with the Wolverines, and he's one of those guys that you root for because he plays the game so hard. And you could see his emotion, Rox, when he was laying on the ground. I mean, he knew he was done.
So Utah Valley moving some pieces around with DeAnda lifted from the game. Out of the order for Arizona in the third is Mason White. Homered in the first will lead it off. Adonys Guzman, Maddox, Michalakis to follow. And White looks at a strike from Colton Kennedy. So plenty of defensive changes for Utah Valley to reorganize in the absence now of DeAnda. And the center fielder, Jaden Smith, goes over to left. And the new center fielder for Utah Valley is Nate Bach, who was the third baseman. There's Bach out there in center. 0-2 to White. Foul back and out of play. Also for Utah Valley, the shortstop, Dominic Longo, the second, moves to third.
Did anybody not move?
Yes, Mason Strong is still catching. CJ Collier is still at first base. There is Longo's now the third baseman. DJ Massey is the new shortstop for Utah Valley. As White drills one out towards center and deep. Nate Bach is back, gone. 2 homers. Mason White, 4-2 Arizona.
Well, when Mason White is right, this happens a lot. He had an off-speed pitch down the right field line in his first at-bat for a home run. He knows he gets his fastball, exits the yard over both walls, puts the Cat back up on top.
Called strike to Guzman, who struck out in the first. You said you were good at math. They were already on top, Wes.
They were on top of what they were.
Center field, deep. leaping, and did he catch it? He did! Nate Bach just stole a home run from Adonys Guzman. Phenomenal catch by the Utah Valley center fielder.
This has got, look at the smile. That's when you know somebody did something real special. This is Sports Center, 100%.
Sports Center top 10. Here comes Nate Bach.
And Nate Bach was a third baseman prior to this inning. And literally takes the home run away from Guzman. This is just sensational. Watch him find the wall.
Brilliant catch. Maddox Mikalakis, a line out. His first time up, takes ball one. What an effort by Bach. I think there's a reason why they shifted him to center field.
And made a lot of moves just to get him out there. You realize how many moves they had to do to get Bach into center field?
Here comes the 2-0. And it's a strike to Maddox Mikalakis.
You know the beauty of this game, when you play this baseball game, and 25 years from now, somebody's going to say, have you ever robbed anybody in a home run?
You want to see the video?
Yeah, I did. No, you didn't.
Off the end of the bat, shallow left. Jaden Smith waiting for it to come down. 2 outs.
Yeah, it was even on Sports Center. It's got to be a top 10, right? Are there 9 better plays than what we just saw today in sports?
If there are, I want to see them. But again, showing your math skills, there would be, are there 10 better than that one?
You know,
to make
I knew
10.
you weren't going to leave that away, but I said it's one more on top. That's all. They're on top 1, and now they got 1 more on top. Back on top of the top.
Garen Caulfield grounded out in the second. He's 0 for 1. The 1-0 pitch. Ball 2. Caulfield just 2 for his last 21. That Arizona needs to get going again. Colton Kennedy. Foul back.
Well, Caulfield will be the first one to tell you this is not what he expected as far as numbers offensively. I mean, last year he was a tremendous hitter, hovering around 300 and above. But the beauty of baseball, right, for Chip Hale and his coaching staff, is that you know he's got it in him. There's no, well, he's got potential. They know that he has been a 300 hitter at this level.
Hit .310 last year. Was all Pac-12 for Arizona as the Wildcats winning the Pac-12 regular season and tournament championships. Grounded sharply past third, hits the side wall. Garen Caulfield on his way to second. Five hits for Arizona. 4 of them have gone for extra bases.
Just a little off-speed pitch that Caulfield hooked down the third base line for his 11th double of the year.
Here's Andrew Kane, who walked and scored in the second. There is activity in the Utah Valley bullpen. Right at the first baseman, C.J. Collier catches it for the outside, retired. The homer, the second of the night for Mason White. But it could have been more for the Wildcats. Nate Bach.
Well, he was the third baseman until this inning in this game. And Nate Bach said, that's Sports Center, top 10, I'm in there.
Well, this was the last 5 games entering the NCAA tournament for Arizona, and not including the great start Owen Kramkowski had yesterday in game 1 for Arizona. But their starting pitching has been vital to them winning the Big 12 tournament and finishing strong here into the postseason.
Well, you see 28 innings there and just 3 runs given up. Had to redeem myself with addition and subtraction and numbers.
Using all your fingers and toes over there?
I'll stay out of that one.
Top of the order for Utah Valley. Luke Iverson singled in the first. 1-1 facing Raul Garzar for Arizona. Two and one on Iverson. One of the few guys that stayed in his original position. All the shifting that Utah Valley had to do because of the injury to Jimmy DeAnda. Three and one on Luke Iverson. And it's ball 4 and a leadoff walk for the Wolverines in the bottom of the 3rd.
And this is something we talked about early that Garzar had to stay away from. Getting behind, and this is the Arizona pitching staff under Kevin Vance that doesn't walk. It's very similar to the pitching staffs that John Savage has had. I mean, Kevin Vance, one of the best pitching coaches in the country, but they don't walk a lot at all as a staff. Speaking of the Arizona Wildcats.
Runner at first. Jaden Smith hit by a pitch in the first inning. And he turns out of the way.
How often do walks score? Leadoff walks?
132% of the time. 1-1 on Smith.
Well, that is a nasty cutter right there.
Iverson being held at first by Tommy Splaine. And the 1-1. Fouled off of the plate. The Utah Valley team that is in the NCAA tournament for the 2nd time in the history of their program, and last night their first NCAA tournament win. Check swing, throw to first, diving back Iverson. No swing on the appeal.
You know, with all the reviews now, Rox, that's one I wouldn't mind, the check swing. It's the most frustrating call for a hitter.
Got him. Garzar with his 3rd strikeout. And there's one gone with Iverson at first. Landon Fry coming up for the Wolverines.
Nice little baby slider from Garzar.
Or at least, you know what? If they asked for the appeal, my issue is the plate umpire saying, no, you can't have the appeal. I saw it.
Well, that's the worst one. I mean, that'll get a skipper thrown out.
That base umpire has a better look at it. He just does.
He does.
Fielder's choice for Fry scored a run in the first inning. He's 0 for 1. And he takes a strike from Garzar.
I would go out on a limb and say, rather than called balls and strikes by a plate umpire, hitters get more angry at the corner umpires on check swings than anything.
Runner goes. Strike, throw to second base, safe. Diving in with a steal. And Luke Iverson swipes second base. And a big 90 feet for Utah Valley is Iverson. Again, this Utah Valley team loves to run. That is their 117th stolen base in the season. And this is game number 61. Runner at second, 1 out.
You know, very rarely, Roxy, are you going to see a team that leads a conference in home runs and stolen bases. Those two don't go together.
It does for this group.
It does for this.
Fry taps it foul. The transfer from the University of Utah. Had a good freshman season in Salt Lake City for the Utes. Then last year played sparingly and transferring down to Orem by about 45 minutes to Utah Valley. Off the end of the bat, into right. Playable for Brendan Summerhill. Makes the catch toward the line, tagging. Luke Iverson breaks for third, and he'll get there as the throw is cut. And Landon Fry a fly out to right field.
Obviously, it's very important to have speed to be able to steal bases as a team. But it's not, you don't have to be a rocket ship to be able to steal bases as a team. You need to run on the right pitches, the right counts, the right situations.
Mason Strong, an RBI single in the first. 2 outs. Luke Iverson at third. And it's on appeal. Yes, he went around. Strike one to Mason Strong. The only other NCAA tournament appearance for Utah Valley was 2016 in Baton Rouge, hosted by LSU. When they lost to LSU, who was the #8 national seed that year, and then were eliminated by Southeastern Louisiana. This is the 23rd all-time meeting between Utah Valley and Arizona. And the Wildcats, through the first 22, have gone 19-3 against the Wolverines.
'19th year of the program, Utah Valley?
As a Division I, no. 2009, they moved up to D1. Grounded foul.
16th year.
Okay. Garzar thought he had strike three. So did half the Wildcats.
Yeah, Garzar is almost off the dirt. Well, it is dirt out there.
It is the only dirt on the surface. By the way,
yes,
it's the 17th year. 2009 counts as one. Off Garzar. Halfway to first. Underhands and gets the out. That was a bullet off the bat of Strong. But Arizona gets out of it. Leadoff walk is stranded. 4-2 Cats to the fourth. Well, Nate Bach moving from third base to center field in the third inning. Got a workout.
Well, he did. Mason White took this fastball dead central, and you see Bach climbing the wall. Wonder why he was doing that. I guess he was prepping himself to do this. This is Adonys Guzman. He said no, not back to back. Just a sensational play, Roxy.
First pitch, Tommy Splaine a drive. Deep left center. Gone! Leadoff homer. 5-2 Arizona.
Something about Tommy Splaine and postseason tournaments and regionals that he just turns it on. This is a fastball down in the zone. He does such a great job of focusing middle. We've seen him hit a triple to right center and now a dinger to left center.
First pitch. Third homer for the Wildcats. And no swing on the appeal by Easton Breifogel. It's ball one.
What was the pitch?
That's in there from Colton Kennedy. One to Breifogel. That's low.
Across the country, and basically on the West Coast, there's some blue bloods trying to reach milestones. USC is playing at Corvallis Regional. USC is trying to reach, wait for it, for the 32nd time a regional final. Arizona State is playing at Westwood in the UCLA Regional there.
Los Angeles Regional.
Trying to reach the regional final for the 33rd time. And these Arizona Wildcats are trying to do it for the 31st time.
Arizona, 4 national championships. Arizona State, 5. USC, 12.
I wish.
In the dirt, gets away. Mason Strong gets the strikeout completed at first.
A real good changeup from Kennedy right there, but you couldn't see Roxy as he was telling me, throwing out those numbers. But when he said Arizona 4, he put up a 5 for Arizona State right in front of my face. I don't know why, but I'm just telling you he did.
Just giving you the visual on top of the verbal. Top of the order, Brendan Summerhill, 1 for 2 with a run. Double to lead off the ball game. One 1-0 on Brendan Summerhill. Kennedy floats that one high.
You know, we talked about how athletic Brendan Summerhill is and how he's projected to be a #1 draft pick in the upcoming Major League draft. He checks all the boxes, Roxy. I mean, just look at him physically. He's 6'3", lanky. He kind of reminds you of somebody like a Bellinger. That kind of frame.
And it's a strike to Summerhill, 3-1.
Bellinger and the Yankees playing the Dodgers. Checks all the boxes.
Did he go? It's a strike, full count. 5-2 Arizona. The Wildcats have scored in each of the first 4 innings of this winner's bracket game. Popped up near third and out of play off the bat of Summerhill. Full count, 1 out. Colton Kennedy already, this will be pitch number 75 for the Utah Valley right-hander. And Summerhill gets into one. Right center field, gone! Another Arizona home run. Fourth home run for the Wildcats and the 4th for Brendan Summerhill.
Well, it's off speed from Kennedy, and Summerhill didn't miss it. And you can see the flags are blowing out. The 4th home run for the Cats tonight.
And Utah Valley goes to the bullpen. Colton Kennedy is done after 3 1/3. And the bullpen summoned for the Wolverines. Arizona out to the early lead. Colton Kennedy chased by Arizona here in the 4th. Went 3 1/3 innings, giving up 6 runs, 7 hits. 5 of those runs were earned. And 4 strikeouts. For Kennedy, the new pitcher is Carter Krosky, a senior from Phoenix. Limited opportunities this year, good numbers for the Utah Valley right-hander.
Well, his job right now is just to keep this deficit at 4 runs and give his powerful offense an opportunity to come back. And you see the bananas, and who is it? Candiotti from last year's club that started that, right?
Aaron Walton climbs in, and the first pitch from Carter Krosky is a strike. Clark Candiotti, son of the former big leaguer Tom Candiotti.
I know him.
The frontline starter for Arizona last year. Hit sharply past the bag of third, but foul. Tom Candiotti's alma mater, St. Mary's, right up the road. Playing USC, and it's 4-3 Trojans in Corvallis, as the Trojans just took the lead from St. Mary's, who knocked off Oregon State last night, but the Beavers won their elimination game against TCU earlier today. Into the shift at short, backhanded. DJ Massey skips it to first, out number 2.
Of course, Tom Candiotti, part of the broadcast team of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
NCAA Baseball Regionals coverage for all 16 sites continues tomorrow on ESPN Plus and the ESPN app. For more information, visit ncaa.com. The home for all 90 NCAA championships. 2 outs, top 4. Here is Mason White, who's homered twice, and it's ball 1.
What's interesting about Mason is very rarely does he have a good offensive game.
Trying to take advantage of the shift, as they were giving him a bunt if he could get one down, but he pushes it foul.
But very rarely does he have a good offensive game and Arizona loses. He went off in the Big 12 tournament. Didn't even strike out once.
And it's interesting that even though he showed bunt and pushed it foul, Utah Valley's still giving it to him if he can lay one down.
Well, if you're Rasmussen, the head coach, Utah Valley, a lot would say, go ahead, bunt. Go ahead, bunt, Mason. We'll give you that. Because when Mason gets locked in, he can do a lot of damage.
Chip Hale, the head coach, coaching third. And White in the air to center. Does he have 3? He does! Third home run for Mason White. His third, Arizona's 5th.
This is an off-speed pitch from Krosky, and Mason knew he got it right off the bat. Bach, not this time.
7-2 Arizona. Ball 1 to Adonys Guzman, who was robbed by Nate Bach in the third. Three-homer game for White. Now Guzman blisters one back through the middle.
Speaking about Mason White, coming into this year, Rox, many thought that Mason was going to be a first-round draft pick, and it was going to be a no doubt that he was going to be. He struggled a little bit this year. Not so much with the batting average, but it was making contact. And yes, you can go down in the draft during the season, but the postseason, if you go off, conversely, you can help yourself.
Maddox Mikalakis now 0 for 2. And by the way, a note on Mason White. It's the first 3-homer game by an Arizona player since April of 2023, when up the road in Corvallis, Emilio Corona hit 3 in a game against the Beavers. Over near the Arizona dugout and out of play from Mikalakis. Did you ever hit 3 in an Arizona uniform?
I did not.
Did Terry Francona?
No, Tito did not hit 3 home runs.
No?
Tito had a magic wand. I mean, he was one of the, arguably the best hitter that I've seen in college. Hand-eye coordination.
And Mikalakis, that runs in and hits him. Activity in the Utah Valley bullpen again as Arizona has 2 on with 2 out for Garen Caulfield.
But not a lot of power.
Caulfield doubled in the 3rd, 1 for 2. That's Terry Francona and Wes, part of the 1980 national championship team for Arizona. The batting center at I-Corbett Field that is home to Arizona baseball. Out beyond the wall and right there in Tucson is named after Terry Francona.
Terry Francona hitting facility.
0-1 on Caulfield. Grounded to 3rd, backing up on it. Dominic Longo, the 2nd, skips it over to 1st, side retired, but 3 more for Arizona. 3 solo homers in the 4th. Tommy Splaine, Brendan Summerhill, Mason White all go deep. And Chip Hale will join us next. It is the NCAA Baseball Regionals presented by Capital One. The Oregon Ducks, the host of the Eugene Regional. Oregon eliminated earlier today in this winner's bracket game. 5 homers for the Wildcats and a 7-2 lead for Arizona. We go to the bottom of the 4th, joined by the skipper, head coach of U of A, Chip Hale, from the 3rd base dugout. And your offense was slow to get going yesterday. Not so much today. What do you see from your hitters?
Yeah, guys just going up there and letting it go. You know, they're just trusting themselves, trusting their timing. You know, the kid yesterday was outstanding. Did a great job against us. He changed speeds, and it was almost to the point to be in the Ethos pitch. And we had a hard time with it. He just got us. And today I think we're better on time and putting the barrel on the ball.
Well, Chip, talk about Mason White. We know and we've heard for 3 years since he stepped foot on campus the talent that he has. But when he puts it all together, it's something else, isn't it?
No doubt about it. No doubt. And he has put it together here in the conference tournament. Late in the season at Houston, he was good. And then obviously, you know, today it's been pretty good, I guess, right? 3 home runs. You take that any day of the week. So, yeah, he's a talented player. He's a good infielder. He's just going to get better. And, you know, pro ball's the next step. And I think he's going to be a bright star in pro ball, too.
Speaking of pro ball, Brendan Summerhill is another one who's highly touted. His development, Chip, how have you seen his progression in your program?
Well, he's a very, very talented hitter. Obviously, the outfield work, you know, whether he's going to play center or the corners, that's the question. But he can really run. I talk about him being like a Ferrari. And, you know, unfortunately for Ferraris, Brayfogel's the same way. They break down sometimes with their hamstrings and quads. When I'm a Yugo, I never got hurt. We just kept playing. So he's had some leg stuff. He's solved that. And I think at the next level, he's really going to become an elite base stealer, base runner with some good tutelage.
Chip, I'm going to ask you about the pitching coach. A lot of times they get forgotten about. And how important is Kevin Vance, the addition of Kevin Vance, your pitching coach, been to you?
Well, he's been great. Obviously, the culture that he's created with the pitchers, the toughness he's installed with them. And, you know, just pitch calling. He's a really good pitch caller. As you know, he'll mix pitches. He's not afraid to call off-speed stuff in fastball counts. And so he's just done a really good job. And obviously he and John DeRoyan have done a wonderful job with our staff.
Chip, appreciate the time as always.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Chip Hale and Arizona leading at 7-2, but Utah Valley threatening here. Leadoff single by Dominic Longo the second, and Nate Bach hit by a pitch. And that'll bring up Brody Block, the DH for the Wolverines. Struck out in the second. Raul Garzar, ball one.
Garzard having a hard time finding a strike zone or anywhere close.
That one runs inside. It's 2-0.
It's a good time for a trip. And there you go with Adonys Guzman. Adonys Guzman came over to the Wildcats program from Boston College, along with the pitching coach that Chip just talked about, Kevin Vant. He's known for his defensive abilities behind the dish and handling a pitching staff. And this is a perfect time to go out there and tell his pitcher, hey, we have a 5-run lead. Don't be trying to hit corners. Let's just go middle. Use your defense, and let's get out of this mess.
Activity starting in the Arizona bullpen. With Garzar dealing with traffic here in the 4th inning. Longo at second, Bach at first. The 2-0 pitch, and that's in there from the right-hander for a strike. Casey Hintz, a right-hander, begins to get loose for the Cats. The 2-1 to Block. That's down and in, and he got hit. They're loaded. A single and 2 at batters, and Utah Valley threatening to come back.
He went back to a breaking pitch after a fastball down the middle on a 2-0 count. They go to something soft, and he yanks it to hits the back left leg of Brody, and just like that.
Now it's the 8-hitter C.J. Collier, a fly out in the second. 7-2 Arizona. Here comes the skipper, Chip Hale. And he will go to the bullpen here with Garzar loading the bases with nobody out in the 4th. Garzar goes 3+, gives up 4 hits so far, 2 runs. And turns it over to the bullpen here. And now it's Casey Hintz coming out of the pen for Arizona. Look at our bracket for the Eugene Regional, where the Ducks were eliminated earlier today, the shocker. As Oregon goes 2-out, losing last night to Utah Valley. And then dropping it to Cal Poly earlier today in this winner's bracket game. So the Mustangs will play the loser of our game tomorrow at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific, with the regional final tomorrow night at 10 Eastern, 7 out here. And the winner of our game goes into the regional final as Chip Hale making the pitching change to bring in Hintz.
Well, Hintz is somebody who's been in games for the last 3 years, some of the biggest games for Arizona in the postseason and in regionals. He's been used in all situations. And he's come into situations just like this with the bases loaded, no outs, 1 out. And again, you talk about the importance of going 2-0 in a regional, Roxy.
The junior from Lakewood, Illinois, who came to Arizona as a 2-way player. It really started to focus on pitching for the Wildcats.
He appeared in just about every 3rd game for the Wildcats. I mean, they use him a lot. He wants to be out there.
There is Hintz tuning up, and he inherits the bases full from Raul Garzar, who goes 3+. So far responsible for 2 runs, but the 3 guys on base are his as well.
Yeah, Garzar, you could just tell. I mean, he lost his feel for the baseball and the strike zone. And it was evident. Chip Hill, understanding the importance of this game, has a 5-run lead. But the Wolverines, with the bases loaded and one of the best offenses in the country, and no outs.
Bases full for Collier. Nobody out, and Utah Valley trying to come back.
Best case scenario, in my opinion, for Arizona is if you can get out of this inning only giving up 1 run, job well done.
Strike from Casey Hintz. 1-1. One way outside from Hintz, and it's 2 balls and a strike. As Casey Hintz last worked at the Big 12 tournament, worked an inning and 2/3 against TCU last Saturday. In the championship game, gave up 1 hit, no runs. The 2-1, chopped. Third baseman cutting over. Mikalakis throws to first for the out, and that's all they'll get on the bouncer. A run comes in as Dominic Longo scores an RBI for Collier. Nate Bach goes to third. Brody Block to second. 1 out. It's 7-3 Arizona.
Well, it's a good job by Collier putting the ball in play. Knocks in a run, and a good decision by Mikalakis at third base. He thought about going to second, thought twice about it, made sure of the out at first.
Yeah, you had to make sure you got at least 1.
You have to get an out in this situation.
First at bat for DJ Massey. 331. Grounded right side. Handcuffed the first baseman, Tommy Splaine, who underhands to Hintz covering. And a ground out from Massey, who entered the game with the injury to Jimmy DeAnda back in the 3rd. And that's an RBI ground out for Massey, and it's 7-4 Wildcats.
Well, it's just good situational hitting from the Wolverines.
Nate Bach comes in, over to third goes Brody Block, 2 outs. And Luke Iverson back to the top of the order for UVU. Jammed and a roller to third. Maddox Mikalakis fires to first, side retired. 2 for Utah Valley as we're through 4. Arizona 7. The Wolverines 4. Bottom of the order coming up for U of A. We go to the 5th of this winner's bracket game. Arizona leading Utah Valley. The Big 12 champs, Wildcats 7. The WAC tournament champs 4. As we're joined by the Utah Valley head coach, Nate Rasmussen. And boy, a wild night last night. You get a win and a quick turnaround. How long could you enjoy the victory last night?
I think we got back to the hotel. Guys enjoyed it probably a little bit longer than the coaches, and just got to work on the scouting report. So tournament time, man, it's the best. You don't get to live in your glory very long.
Real quick, I want to ask you a couple questions here. What's the status of DeAnda? What happened to him?
Some with his hammy. We got to see the doc. You know, just hoping for the best. But, you know, I think he's probably done for the weekend.
And then you move your third baseman. Who knew he was going to be on SportsCenter?
He was our starting center fielder for 2 years. He's just made our team better by having to play infield this year. I think he's one of the best center fielders in the country. And so people always get surprised when we put him out there. And I'm like, you know, he's been our center fielder for 2 years. So.
Yeah, he proved he's one of the best defensive center fielders in the country with that catch.
Yeah.
How many texts, how many phone calls did you get after the game last night?
Probably mid 300s, somewhere in there. Yeah. It was a cool little experience, and I haven't gotten back to all of them yet, so I'm sorry about that, but we will at some point.
You're getting back to him right here. That you
there you go.
You got
exactly.
their text.
You just told them all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How many runs does a team, Nate, need to score to beat your offense? I mean, you guys are relentless.
Yeah, we've been pretty good this year. You know, I thought we did an awesome job right there of just trying to manufacture some and doing a job against a really tough righty with sinker sweeper. And so it's going to take that against Arizona. We're going to have to fight to get those runs in. But, you know, I hope at least more than 7, you know, so we can take a shot getting back in this thing.
Foul ball off the bat of Andrew Kane. Nate, appreciate the time. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, you guys.
Head coach of Utah Valley, Nate Rasmussen, who not only got the first victory in the NCAA tournament in program history last night, but also got a contract extension from Utah Valley this week. Eventful week for Nate Rasmussen.
I talked to him a couple days, and he's a bright baseball mind.
0-2 and Andrew Kane, the new pitcher for Utah Valley, is Ray Hernandez. As Kane drew a walk and scored back in the second, he is 0 for 1.
But who knew that Nate Bach was the best center fielder, and he came in, he was just helping out the team playing third.
Well, clearly Nate Rasmussen knew.
Apparently.
Hernandez at 3.66 ERA as Kane gets under this one. Over toward the line and right, Luke Iverson backpedaling, shy of the track. Puts it away, out number 1. So Hernandez takes over on the mound for Utah Valley after Carter Krosky goes 2/3 of an inning. And Hernandez, a junior from Temecula, transfer from Ohlone Junior College in the Bay Area. But Temecula's in Southern California.
I wasn't sure if you knew where that was. I did. I was going to pull up my knowledge.
Did you hurt yourself? Tommy Splaine homered in the 4th, and he takes a strike from Hernandez.
I can do that just sitting.
All right, you want to show off? Where is the Utah Valley University campus?
In Utah.
Okay.
That's it.
What city?
Forget it.
I talked about it last night. Clearly you weren't listening.
I stayed with Utah. That's all. Orem?
Correct.
Really?
Do you know where Orem is?
I think it's between Provo and Ogden.
Wrong. Incorrect.
You are so happy. The glee. Boy, you are so happy to say wrong.
I'm shining bright right now.
Jeez.
Orem is south of Salt Lake City. Ogden is north. 1-2 to Splaine. Line sharply foul. Orem is right next to Provo, where BYU is, and you have to pass if you're driving from Salt Lake City to Provo and to BYU, which I do often during the basketball season. You drive right past the Utah Valley campus. Off the 15. Splaine chasing one is down on strikes. 2 gone.
Nice little slider on the outside part by Hernandez. This probably wouldn't shock you that I've actually coached pro ball in the state of Utah in Ogden, and we had to go to Provo to play. Nice little slider on the outside part by Hernandez.
2 gone in the Arizona 5th. Here is Easton Breifogel. Reached on a sacrifice fly error in the 2nd. And then struck out in the 4th, and it's strike 1 from Hernandez. You literally drive right past the Utah Valley ballpark. UCCU ballpark there as you're driving south on the 15. Terrific facility for Nate Rasmussen and Utah Valley.
Beautiful state is Utah.
Now you're trying to butter them up because you didn't know the geography of Utah.
No, I'm not. It's just it's one of my favorite states. Seriously, I mean,
one of your favorite 50 states.
Oh boy, you know, I'm just trying to be honest. Just trying to be honest. It's one of the states I've been in that I think is beautiful, as do I do Oregon.
Line sharply the other way, and Easton Breifogel into the alleyway. Backhanded by Nate Bach, and Breifogel with speed into second base, and a 2-out double for the Wildcats.
Toby DeMello is the hitting coach for the Wildcats, and he has his hitters on fire tonight. This is just tremendous hitting.
10 hits for Arizona. 8 have been for extra bases. Quick, Wes, what percentage is that?
I wasn't actually. I was looking at Bryce.
You weren't listening again. Way to go.
What was the question?
Arizona has 10 hits. 8 of them extra base hits.
80%.
You got it.
Yeah, you can stump me on numbers. I'm telling you. You can stump me on my name, literally, but not numbers.
1-0 on Summerhill, who homered in the 4th. 2 for 3, also doubled tonight. And he fouls that one off at home plate. One and one. Top of the order for the Wildcats. They've scored in every inning to this point. In the air, in center. Going back on it is Nate Bach, has room, and he makes the catch. Side retired, and the first time that Arizona does not score in an inning. To the bottom of the 5th, Wildcats 7, Utah Valley 4, 2, 3, and 4 coming up for the Wolverines. Here's our game track as we move to the home half of the 5th inning. And 2, 3, and 4 coming up for Utah Valley. Arizona's hit 5 home runs in this game, 3 of them by Mason White. And of the 10 hits for Arizona, 8 have gone for extra bases. And the first 3-homer game for a Wildcat in 2 years. There's a strike in there from Casey Hintz. Took over out of the bullpen for the Wildcats. Jaden Smith 0 for 1 with a hit by pitch and has scored a run tonight. One and one on Jaden Smith. Casey Hintz. Bounding ball to short, charging it. Mason White's on the move. And there's one out. ESPN is the home for the NCAA College Baseball Regionals. For round-the-clock multi-game coverage, scan the QR code right there. ESPN Plus subscribers can access expanded coverage with Squeeze Play.
Take a look at Mason White there, making that play. When he started his career at Arizona, he started as a second baseman because the Wildcats had Nick McClary playing shortstop, and Nick McClary is one of the best in the country.
He was the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year for Arizona.
Yeah, and Mason had to wait his time to move over to the other side.
Landon Fry 0 for 2, reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the first inning. There is Mason White, who erupted at the Big 12 tournament. Had a huge weekend in Arlington last weekend. For 2 straight years, Arizona winning their conference tournament championship, Pac-12 last year, Big 12 this season. Both times, Mason White was the tournament's most outstanding player.
And all of that done in Chip Hale's just 4 years. Chip Hale at the helm of the Arizona Wildcats.
Sweeper, called strike 3. Outstanding movement on that pitch for Casey Hintz, 2 gone. He's retired all 5 batters since coming in.
And it's basically a slider, right? But the arm angle, because of the arm angle, you see it drop down. Pitchers have new names now.
Fooled him there. Strike 1 on Mason Strong, an RBI single back in the first. Chop foul to plate by Mason Strong. 0-2 on the cleanup batter for Utah Valley. 7-4 Arizona. Bottom of the 5th inning. And it just missed from Hintz. Swing and a miss, struck him out. 3 up, 3 down. Goes Utah Valley here in the bottom of the 5th. On to the 6th in Eugene, 7-4 Cats. We go to the 6-7-4 Wildcats, our Capital One rewarding performance. Mason White's 3 home runs for the Arizona shortstop.
Well, he left the yard in the 1st inning, and he said, "You think that's something? I'm going to lead the yard in the 3rd inning." And very rarely are you going to see home runs by the same player in back-to-back innings, but that's what we saw tonight, Roxy.
He's due up 2nd here in the 6th. As Aaron Walton 0 for 3 will lead it off. And it's ball 1 from Ray Hernandez. 7 runs, 10 hits, 1 error for Arizona. 4 runs, 4 hits, an error for Utah Valley. And a strike from Hernandez evens the count. The 1-1 on the inside half of the plate for a strike. One and 2 on Aaron Walton. Hernandez the turn. And it's fouled back by the Arizona center fielder. Five homers for the Wildcats. 10 hits for Arizona. After just 2 hits yesterday in a 3-2 win. Fouled back by Walton.
How about North Dakota State, Roxy, knocking out Kansas? Sending them home.
The Bison.
I'm going to guess you've done football games up there.
Actually, I have not at North Dakota State football. Walton clubs one to left. That one will get to the corner. Walton on his way to 2nd. He'll take a turn, slam on the brakes. A double for Walton. 9th extra base hit already for Arizona.
Well, Aaron Walton just takes advantage of a middle pitch and hooks it down the left field line. And don't look now, but that guy, Mason White, is at the dish.
3 for 3 with 3 home runs. There is an open base.
I knew you were going to go there.
And it's ball 1 to White.
But you're already chasing 3 if you're Utah Valley.
Grounded foul.
I can't
1 ball, 1 strike.
I can't see Hernandez throwing anything that gets much more of an inch of the plate on either side of the plate.
Activity in the bullpen for the Wolverines. The 1-1. A strike at the knees. And that was over the middle, but was right at the knees.
It was middle.
1 and 2 on Mason White. Mason White has 7 home runs in the last 6 games. And 14 RBIs in the last 7.
You know, when Mason White is right, he reminds you a lot of Travis Bazzana last year and the damage that he can do with a bat. course, Travis Bazzana, the #1 overall pick of the Cleveland Guardians in last year's MLB draft.
Just got a piece of it. The count holds 2-2 on the shortstop for the Wildcats. White with 48 career homers, second in Arizona history. Behind Shelley Duncan, the record for Arizona is 55. Got him, struck him out. Went with a changeup.
He did. It's the same pitch that Mason took for strike one. Just a tremendous pitch by Ray Hernandez in a big situation.
One gone, a runner at second. Here is Adonys Guzman, who's 1 for 3. Singled in the fourth. He was robbed of a homer by Nate Bach in the third. The center fielder jumped up over the wall to bring it back.
Real quick note on Mason White. He has a career 109 extra base hits, one shy of tying the Arizona all-time record, career record of 110.
Runner goes and grounded foul up the first base side.
Dave Stegman.
I wouldn't have gotten that one.
Nor would I. I would have actually guessed Les Piercy, but they played together and they were a tremendous duo, is what I heard. Wasn't born. I just read a lot.
What years was he at Arizona? Guzman launches this one up into the air. Waiting for it to land is Nate Bach, coming in right on top of the O, makes the catch. Two gone, still at second is Aaron Walton. And Maddox Mikalakis, the batter for the Wildcats. What years was he at Arizona?
Mikalakis is
No.
in the box, right?
Stedman.
Steg was at the program in 73 to 76.
So he was on the 76 title team for Arizona.
Yes, he was.
First of the 4 that Arizona has won. Over the mound, the second baseman. That's actually the shortstop on the right side of second. And DJ Massey handles it to retire the side. Hernandez puts up another 0 for the Wolverines. We go to the bottom of the 6th, 7-4 Arizona.
Welcome everyone to Omaha, Nebraska, home of the College World Series.
'Cause here I come, I wear it all on my sleeve, so everything you see shows you where I'm from.
Bolts back and makes the catch! Somehow hung on! Back-to-back jacks!
More, can you believe it? Can you believe it?
Wildcats trying to get back to Omaha. Utah Valley last night winning an NCAA tournament game for the first time. As we start the bottom of the 6th, Dominic Longo the second takes ball 1 from Casey Hintz. 5, 6, and 7 for the Wolverines. Nate Bach, Brody Block to follow. That's a strike. Runs in there from Hintz. It's 1-1. Longo is 2 for 2, has scored a run and driven in another. Start of the game playing short. Now the third baseman for Utah Valley. Called strike 1 and 2. Casey Hintz runs that one outside. He's retired all 6 Utah Valley hitters since entering. Popped up, giving it a look. And Tommy Splaine watched it sail out of play.
Florida got back on track, scoring 17 today.
After losing yesterday, the Gators. High chopper. Cutting over the third baseman, Maddox Mikalakis. Nice play for the out. Hintz has retired all 7. 5 groundouts and 2 strikeouts for Casey Hintz.
Well, Mikalakis is the only one that can field this ball and get an out with Longo to second running.
One out. Here is Nate Bach. Double play ball in the first. Hit by pitch, scored a run in the 4th. And it's ball 1 from Casey Hintz. Earlier today here in an elimination game, Cal Poly came back. A seesaw affair with Oregon. And the Mustangs win 10-8, eliminating the Ducks, the home team in this Eugene Regional. .2-0. That's a strike. The first time in the last 5 seasons that Oregon lost a game when hitting 5 home runs.
I mean, that's why you play the games, right? It is shocking. But at the same time, I don't think anybody gave Larry Lee's Cal Poly Mustangs the credit they deserve throughout the year, no matter that their RPI was in the top 20.
Did you give them the credit during the year?
I did.
Well, then you're somebody, so not.
Well, I'm not written to you. I'm not.
Oh.
But I get it, and I understand that. But that being said, when you watch them play today, they deserve to be in the field, and there was no question about it. When you watch that team play, but yet the experts had them projected out.
Probably the only reason they got in was they won the Big West tournament. And this was the first year of the Big West tournament. As on the front slope of the mound, Hintz fields and throws out Nate Bach, 2 gone.
But D1 Baseball, the best publication that's ever come about for college baseball, and it's the best that college baseball has ever had. But D1 Baseball projected on a daily basis who they thought was going to get in the field. Well, they had the last 4 in, the first 4 out, and then the next 4. And the next 4 was where Cal Poly was at.
Offensive conference for Nate Rasmussen. As you see, some of the Cal Poly guys, after winning against Oregon earlier today, coming back to the yard, and they will play the loser of this game tomorrow at 3 local time. But this was also the first time in the history of Cal Poly's program they won a game in the host teams, against the host team in their ballpark.
Wow.
In all their tournament trips. Their first since 2014.
It's just a well-coached team by one of the best who's ever done it, and Larry Lee, 23rd season for the Mustangs.
Cody Block, ball 1. 0 for 1 with a hit by pitch.
And how they did it today, Roxy, they had a lead and then lost the lead, but they came back and got the lead and the win. Well, here's a surprising score for me at the Los Angeles Regional. UCLA up 10-2 over Arizona State.
Chopper near second base. The second baseman Caulfield on the move. Casey Hintz mowing him down. He's retired all 9 since coming out of the bullpen for the Wildcats. 7-4 Arizona to the 7th. Some of the Golden Spikes Awards semifinalists. Mason DeVille of Oregon, with leading the country in home runs with 26, although had a rough weekend. Rock Chalowski of UCLA, part of the Big Ten contingent, the semifinalists. Garen Caulfield leads off for Arizona in the 7th. 1 for 3, and he takes ball 1. Doubled back in the 3rd.
Well, Rock Chalowski, for me, he's one of the best baseball players I've ever seen since I've been involved in broadcasting in college baseball. He played third base last year as a freshman, and he moved over to shortstop. And Actually, up to a couple days ago, he was leading. Now, I'm not, as you know, not real big on war, but he's leading the entire nation in war.
But if it supports your argument, you'll use it.
Just let me go with it, okay? Just let me go with it, all right?
Yeah.
I mean, had you just said yes, but he does, and he's had a tremendous season.
Garen Caulfield pops it up. Shallow center. Wynn carrying it over toward right center as Nate Bach makes the catch, out number 1.
Now, of course, there's a lot of great players across college baseball, and then whoever wins it is going to be deserving. But just for me, from my eyes, what I've seen from Rock Chalowski, I truly believe if he was draft eligible, he's a sophomore now, but if he was draft eligible this year, he could be the 1-1 overall. That's how good Rock Chalowski is for me.
Andrew Kane, the batter, 0 for 2 with a walk and a run. And ball 1 from Ray Hernandez, who's done a nice job out of the bullpen for the Wolverines since entering.
You just wonder how many sophomores have won the Golden Spikes Award.
2-0 the count. His dad, a really good college baseball player himself, and now a scout for the big leagues.
What do you think his dad's opinion would be as a scout?
What's his scatter report on his kid? Called strike, 2-1. Comes from good genes. Take care of the dad, too, if you draft him. 2-1 on Kane, the pitch. 3-1. His dad, Dan, who played at Cal.
Well, he was going to be a high draft pick coming out of high school in Arizona. And he said, no, I want to go play for John Savage and want to be a Bruin.
Strike call to Kane. Full count now on the Arizona DH. Full count, 1 out. Ray Hernandez. And it's low, and a 1-out walk. First issued by Hernandez. 1-out base runner for the Wildcats, and Tommy Splaine homered back in the 4th, coming up for U of A. The Cinderella so far of the tournament is Murray State, the Racers. And it's a 4 seed. And Splaine takes ball 1. They are 2-0 in the Oxford Regional, becoming the 10th regional 4 seed to win its first 2 games since this current format was adapted in 1999. Wow. 6 of the previous 9 went on to win that regional. There's a mound visit for the catcher Mason Strong here. The last being Evansville last year. You go to Oral Roberts, who did it in 2023, and of course Oral Roberts came here and won a super regional from Oregon in 2003. And Fresno State, who won the 2008 national championship as a 4 seed.
Really? Is it?
Line sinking in center. That's a hit. On a bounce, stopping at second is Kane, and Splaine with a 3-hit game.
Tommy Splaine's hits have been 1 to right, left center, and now center field.
And now here comes, that is the head coach Nate Rasmussen out of the dugout. And that'll be it for Hernandez. Pitching change for Utah Valley as Arizona trying to get the offense going again. 7-4, Cats threatening in the 7th. Ray Hernandez did a nice job out of the bullpen. 2 1/3 innings for Utah Valley and stabilized the game. Arizona had scored in each of the first 5 innings until Hernandez came in.
He did. He did a real good job. He kept the deficit at 3 runs, and that's exactly what his skipper wanted him to do.
He's responsible for Kane at second, Splaine at first. The new pitcher for Utah Valley is the Boise native Garrett Miller. Has an ERA of near 7 with 23 strikeouts and 20 2/3. Walks have been an issue for Miller.
They have. You see 12 and just 20 2/3. And again, you mentioned this throughout the time we've been in this regional. When you look at the ERAs of the Wolverines, they play in a place that's conducive to balls flying out of the yard. It's very similar to Albuquerque and then of course Salt Lake City.
And Provo, which is right next
Provo,
door,
and
which you were clearly aware of before the game.
I did. I actually, I've been there. I remember most places that I've been. I didn't remember San Luis Obispo, even though we did. That was the first time I ever saw you or met you.
Clearly, you're trying to block that out of your mind.
You can't do it. Well, I did it. I did a pretty good job. I got the city. I've met you out.
Easton Breifogel coming up for Arizona. 2 on, 1 out. Nate Rasmussen looking on intently, trying to keep this a 3-run game. Give his offense a chance to come back. Breifogel doubled his last time. He takes outside for a ball. 1 for 2 tonight. A sac fly which he reached when the ball was dropped in center by Jaden Smith back in the 2nd inning. First appearance of the regional for Garrett Miller. Two 2-0 on Easton Breifogel. Top of the order on deck for Arizona. Spin and a throw, and Massey, the shortstop covering, had to lunge for it to keep it from going into center. Garrett Miller hasn't pitched since the last weekend of the regular season. Did not appear in the WAC tournament. As he worked a scoreless inning against the University of San Francisco in San Francisco back on May 16th, about 2 weeks ago. '21st appearance, all in relief for Garrett Miller. The 2-1. Line right field and a hit for Breifogel. Around third, Andrew Kane coming home and over to third and diving in ahead of the throw. Tommy Splaine, RBI single. Easton Breifogel's driven in a pair tonight. 8-4 Arizona.
Well, Breifogel gets a fastball from Miller, and he doesn't miss it. It's some real good base running by Tommy Splaine to get over to third base and set up the Wildcats 1st and 3rd with just 1 out.
Sharp single to right, 13 Arizona hits. Top of the order, Brendan Summerhill now. 2 for 4. Homer, a double. Bounding ball at second base. Landon Fry has trouble with it. Dug out at first base by C.J. Collier. Summerhill is out. The second goes Breifogel. Splaine comes in to score. And it's a 9-4 Arizona lead. RBI for Brendan Summerhill.
Needless to say, this is a much different offense from the Wildcats tonight than we saw yesterday. Yesterday, if you weren't with this, the Wildcats had just 2 hits, and they both came in the same inning, and that was the second.
Strike 1 to Aaron Walton.
And didn't get a hit the next 6 innings, but got the W.
Last 2 runs have been charged to Hernandez. Easton Breifogel at second base. The Wildcats have tacked on 2 more here in the 7th. That ball's ripped to left field, and it's deep, and it's gone! Number 11 for Aaron Walton. Arizona with 6 home runs tonight, and they've blown it open 11-4 Wildcats.
This is really, really impressive from Walt. Watch how quick those hands are. That ball's down and in. Quick hands, and it didn't take long to leave the yard.
Yeah, that one got out in a hurry. Mason White, speaking of leaving the yard, rolls that one foul.
Now, this Arizona's single game home run record is 7, and they set that at Washington State back in 2001.
They've got 6 in this one. 14 hits, 10 extra base hits for Arizona.
Not too many people, quite frankly, at any level, have hit 4 home runs in a game. That's what Mason White has an opportunity to do.
Just missed off the outside.
And that includes Little League. And when you think about it, even Little League, think about it. It's just an amazing feat if you've ever hit 4 home runs. I mean, let alone 2 or 3.
Trying to think of the big leaguers that have done it.
What happened this year?
Carlos
with the
Delgado did it.
Diamondbacks this year. Suarez, didn't he?
Eugenio Suarez.
Wow.
He was trying for number 4.
It's very, very difficult to, and when you're in this situation, because you know what you have an opportunity to do. And Mason White punched out his last at bat, and you can see that's something soft right there. And
White got under this one. This will stay in the ballpark. Shallow right center, and diving for it, and it falls in for White, who ends up at second base. It's a double for Mason White.
well, when it's going good, it's going good. And he hits his ball in this little triangle between Bach, Iverson, and Fry, and a good job of base running. Yes, frustrated, but he ends up on second base.
And the outfield was playing deep for Mason White because of what he can do. And the infield trying to race back for it, a very difficult play. And it landed in between him as Guzman goes the other way. Deep right center, gone! Seventh home run for Arizona.
This is a ball, middle. Guzman, we talked about the wind, and it is blowing out more so to right center, but the ball will carry. But Guzman hit this ball right on the butt.
That'll be it for Garrett Miller, who was roughed up by Arizona. The Wildcats have scored 6, And they're not done. There's 2 outs, and they have blown it open, now leading this winner's bracket game 13-4. In the regional final, the winner of this game will advance to it tomorrow night. The loser will play Cal Poly tomorrow afternoon to try to advance to the regional final.
And then the winner
Arizona
of that
Wildcats offense tonight has been scorching.
I mean, they've been on fire from inning 1 when Mason White left the yard. I mean, they've hit balls out of the yard literally from right field to left field, all over the place.
Utah Valley going to the bullpen again as the Wildcats have tied a single game record with 7 home runs. And Luke Kimmel, the new pitcher, who hails right there from Orem, into the ball game for Utah Valley, has a 9-run lead for Arizona. And keep in mind, during the regular season, there is a run rule that can come into play, not in the NCAA tournament.
And the reason being is because pitching is so important in the postseason. If you had a run rule and some of them won 4s, and although there's four 4s that won yesterday, they don't want anybody to have an advantage because they run ruled somebody to save more innings being pitched. And I like the rule. I should say I like not having the rule in the postseason.
The Cats have feasted on Utah Valley pitching in this one. The 9th batter, this top of the 7th, is Maddox Mikalakis. He is 0 for 3 tonight with a hit by pitch. And Kimmel gets a strike over to Mikalakis. Colton Kennedy started for Utah Valley. He went, it's 0-2. Carter Krosky, Ray Hernandez, Garrett Miller, and now Luke Kimmel. Timeout, and Chip Hale coming down to have a word with Maddox Mikalakis. Chip Hale won a national championship. He was on the Arizona 1986 team. And he would love to join a list that includes his mentor. As someone who's won a national championship as a player and trying to do it as a head coach now, his former head coach, your former head coach, Jerry Kindle, did it as a player at Minnesota, won a national championship, and then won 3 as the head coach of the Wildcats. Kimmel gets the strikeout. The side is retired. Not before Arizona gets 6 more. We're stretching in Eugene. 13-4 Wildcats. Arizona with a 6-run 7th, now a 9-run lead. They have hit record-tying 7 homers in this game. And a 13-4 lead for the Wildcats as Arizona goes to the bullpen. They bring in Michael Hilker Jr., making his 12th appearance. He's 2-1, but an ERA up over 8 in 17 and 2/3 innings this year. Has 18 strikeouts, just 4 walks. He will face 8-9-1 for Utah Valley. C.J. Collier, DJ Massey, Luke Iverson. So the Wildcats have tied the program record for the most home runs in a game. Not just a postseason game, any game in Arizona history. A called strike to C.J. Collier is 0 for 2 with an RBI. Arizona hit 7 home runs in a game in April of 2001 at Bailey Brayton Field in Pullman, Washington against Washington State. And they've hit 7 here tonight.
Now the Brayton part of that is from Bobo Brayton, correct?
Correct.
Former head coach.
0-2 on Collier. Hilker gets the strikeout. 3 pitches, 1 out as he took over for Casey Hintz, who was magnificent. Perfect for 3 innings out of the bullpen for Arizona. 9 up, 9 down. 2 strikeouts, 7 ground ball outs.
And that big inning by the Wildcats allowed Chip Hale to say, you know what? Hold on a second. Let me get him out of the game. And that little conference that Chip Hale had with 2 strikes when Mikalakis was up was just to buy a little bit more time for Hilker Jr. to heat up in the pen.
And the good thing for Arizona with how dominant Hintz was in his 3 innings, he threw just 33 pitches. Down low from Hilker, 1-1.
Well, Hintz has been very, very durable in his entire career at Arizona. He has the ability to throw back-to-back-to-back games and has done it.
DJ Massey came into the game when Jimmy DeAnda was injured, ending the bottom of the 2nd. And Massey was inserted to play short. And the moving pieces, Renee Rasmussen shifting guys around with reconfiguring the lineup for Utah Valley in terms of their defensive alignment. 2-2 on Massey. First at bat, an RBI ground out. And a full count. Hilker has made 2 starts for Arizona this year, both coming in midweek games. Back in the month of March. He's worked primarily in relief. And it's strike 3 called. Massey has gone looking. And there's 2 away here in the last of the 7th. Back to the top of the order in Iverson.
Well, Hilker Jr. goes back to the fastball. It's right bottom and just locks him up. He knew it. He's looking back at home plate umpire Seth Buckminster, but he knew it.
Luke Iverson, 1 for 2, was also walked. Strike 1 from Hilker. Hilker's worked primarily in relief during midweek games. Made 2 relief appearances, make that 3 in conference. And it's 0-2 on Iverson. Utah Valley with just 4 hits. And their last coming leading off the bottom of the 4th. And it's just inside. Wasn't much room in there with Iverson standing on top of the plate.
Well, you look at Guzman and where that ball initially touched his glove and where it ended up. I mean, that's very, very popular nowadays by catchers, yanking balls about a foot.
Chases 1. Michael Hilker Jr. strikes out the side for Arizona. We're through 7. Arizona 13, Utah Valley 4. Game 4, the Eugene Regional. The Arizona Wildcats have exploded offensively, tying the franchise record for home runs in a game. Doesn't matter regular season, NCAA tournament, College World Series, 7 home runs, 16 hits, and leading Utah Valley 13-4 as we go to the 8th.
And you contrast from yesterday to today, 8 times the amount of hits and 4.16 more runs.
Called strike to Garen Caulfield. 6, 7, and 8 for Arizona against Luke Kimmel here in the 8th. Caulfield doubled in the 3rd. He is 1 for 4.
And that double, the pop-up double by Mason White, that ended up being a double, that ties him now for the record in extra base hits career for the University of Arizona.
7 of the 9 Arizona hitters have at least one hit tonight. And the other 2 have reached base. The other way, going back and right. Iverson going for the record on top of the batting facility and right. New single game Arizona home run record. That's 8 for the Wildcats. Garen Caulfield hits his 7th of the year.
What more can you say? I mean, this is not that bad of a pitch. It's down and away, and Caulfield does a great job to go down and get it.
Called strike to Andrew Kane. A new single game Arizona program record for homers in a game. 8 home runs in this winner's bracket game of the Eugene Regional at a 14-4 lead. You think of all the great clubs that Arizona has had over the years. The incredible offensive talent, my partner included.
Wow. Boy, you must need money tonight for dinner.
Jammed on a pop-up on the edge of the outfield grass, and that is the third baseman Dominic Longo making the grab. 1 out. But you go back through the years, whether it's the 4 national championship teams that Arizona has had, the great home run hitters they have had over the years in their program. But this team has set the record, and there is my partner's accomplishments.
Oh, boy.
Playing at U of A.
Come on.
Sharp grounder, and Tommy Splaine has a 4-hit night.
Thank goodness Tommy swung at the first pitch right there. Got to get that mug off the screen.
At least you can embrace that.
Well, I understand. I know my lane. I understand. Trust me, it's a small lane, too. It's not a big lane.
Easton Breifogel, he homered yesterday.
This is a point of the game where both head coaches, Roxy, start looking ahead to tomorrow. And when are you going to, if you're Nate Rasmussen, or might you take out some of your starters because you know you're going to play another game tomorrow to get some players?
Like to give Mason Strong, your catcher, a breather.
Absolutely, but you get some players that most likely would not be playing in an elimination game.
On the ground. Swallowed up at second base, and the short throw to first by Landon Fry. That gets Breifogel as Tommy Splaine, who has a career best 4 hits at second base.
A really good play by Fry right there. But this is a time where you get some players. And again, there's not one way to do it, but I wouldn't be surprised that if it may happen on both sides.
And if Utah Valley wants to get to the regionals, or through the regionals to the supers, they're going to have to win twice tomorrow and then force a game Monday night. Game 7 of this regional. The same for Cal Poly. They won earlier today, an elimination game, as they took out Oregon. Cal Poly would need to win tomorrow afternoon and then tomorrow night against Arizona to force a game Monday. Arizona, should they hold on and win, they advance to the regional final, and they can win it tomorrow night.
And if they do, this score holds here, it'll be the 32nd time in the Arizona history that they've reached a regional final.
Swing and a miss. 2-2 on Brendan Summerhill.
And the first for Chip Hale.
Two and two on Summerhill. He homered in the fourth. And it's strike three called. Catches him looking. Side retired. Another run for Arizona. Their 8th home run of the day. 14-4 Cats to the bottom of the 8th. We go to the bottom of the 8th in Eugene. Winners bracket, Arizona. Using the long ball, 14-4 on the WAC tournament champs, the Utah Valley Wolverines, with Wes Clemens and our ESPN crew. Roxy Bernstein with you from the Pacific Northwest. 2, 3, and 4 for UVU. Jaden Smith, Landon Fry, Mason Strong. Here in the 8th against Michael Hilker Jr. Struck out the side in the 7th. And it's ball 1 on appeal. No, he didn't go. One 0 pitch is popped out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. All of a sudden, the tote board for home runs in a regional, it's creeping up here with this one, courtesy of Arizona. Mighty cut by Jaden Smith.
Now this yard is conducive to home runs. There's no question about it. Just 380 to center field. The wind normally blows out.
390.
Or 390.
It's not labeled, so I'll cut you some slack on
Yeah,
that one.
390. Yeah, that's right. You talked about that. That would have been your 5-iron normally.
Rephrase that, please. 2-2 on Smith. Grounded to short. Mason White up with it, slings it on to first.
I know
The
this
combination of Hintz and Hilker out of the Arizona bullpen have now got 4 1/3 perfect innings of relief.
Well, the pen has been a strong point for this Arizona Wildcat staff.
Called strike to Landon Fry, who is 0 for 3 with a run. The final from Corvallis. USC is into the regional final as they beat St. Mary's 6-4. So St. Mary's now will go back to an elimination game and play Oregon State, who they beat last night, as the Beavs took care of TCU earlier today. And it'll be USC in that regional final. The Trojans and Andy Stankiewicz.
And that will be the 32nd time they've reached that regional final. I misspoke, actually, which is not surprising, but on the
Swing
Arizona.
and a miss. Fry strikes out.
This would be, if this score holds, Arizona's 31st time that they've reached a regional final.
Here comes Mason Strong, an RBI single back in the first. He is 1 for 3. And then UCLA up 11-3, trying to finish off Arizona State. In the bottom of the 9th, the Bruins are the visiting team in that game. UCLA a 7-run second. And John Savage and UCLA, the number 13 national seed.
And they were co-champions of the Big Ten Conference with the Oregon Ducks, but the Oregon Ducks, because of the series win here, won the tiebreaker against the Bruins.
We're the top seed at the Big Ten tournament, which was won by Nebraska.
And John Savage's team, yes, they're good this year. Watch out next year. The core of that team that he has is all young.
If. Because we know in this day and age,
You're right.
In the era of the
What's
transfer
that?
portal,
Three levels?
we're all year to year.
3 letters. Portal and NIL.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Mason Strong.
When you look at that team, AJ Salgado is the senior on that team. Otherwise, they're coming back with additions and some arm injuries. They're coming back too from his pitching staff.
Strike 3 called. Catches Strong looking. 5 strikeouts for Michael Hilker Jr., who's gone 6 up, 6 down. 5 perfect innings for the Arizona pen and a 10-run lead. Still have some lights in the sky up above Eugene as we've gone to the 9th inning of this winner's bracket, game 4 of the Eugene Regional. Along with Wes Clements and our ESPN crew, Roxy Bernstein with you. 14-4 Arizona leading Utah Valley as Jacob Beltran comes out of the bullpen, the 6th pitcher used by UVU in the game. 14 runs, 18 hits, 1 error for Arizona. Program record 8 home runs for the Wildcats. Utah Valley 4 runs, 4 hits with an error. They have stranded just 3 runners.
Beltran, a senior on this Wolverine club. Hasn't been out there much this year, but getting his feet wet in some postseason.
Aaron Walton leads it off in the 9th, and he takes ball 1 from Beltran.
If you just joined us, don't go anywhere. The dude on deck has got an opportunity to hit 4 home runs in a game.
Walton hit 1 himself in the 7th. And he takes high from Beltran. It's 2-0. Walton 2 for 5. Aaron Walton a 2-run homer in that 6-run 7th. He's also doubled in this game, and there is Mason White with 3 home runs looming on deck. 3-0 on Walton. Beltran, the senior from Phoenix, went to South Mountain Community College. And the 3-0. And that's in there from the right-hander. Three and 1. Walton out toward left field, and that drops in front of Jaden Smith, and Walton will try to dig for 2, and he makes it. Hustling with a 10-run lead in the 9th, and Aaron Walton gets to second base.
It's a great job by Walton, and that's how he plays the game. And there's never a time where you're not playing as hard as you can. Doesn't matter what the score is, and great example by Aaron Walton.
So a double to left for Walton. It was a 3-hit game. 19 hits for Arizona. Here is White, who has homered 3 times and doubled. And it's ball 1. Wildcats, 14 of their 19 hits for extra bases. Mighty cut.
Well, they keep flipping Mason his last 3 at-bats. You notice they've stayed away from anything hard.
1-1 on White. 2 balls and a strike. There was a fastball well out of the zone.
And that's just a show-me fastball. And if you think along with how they pitched him his last 3 at-bats, you would think something soft is coming right now.
Beltran, the 2-1. White in the air, pushing out of play. And that's a foul ball down the left field side. 6 doubles, 8 home runs for Arizona. 19 hits. 2-2 on White. Beltran. The pitch. And a full count. Look, the game could have turned out this way anyways, but it just seemed like some of the life and energy was sucked out of Utah Valley when Jimmy DeAnda went down at the end of the bottom of the second.
Yeah, there's
White
no
draws
question.
ball 4.
No question about it.
He was a catalyst in the win against Oregon last night.
No, he was a big, gigantic. He was the MVP for everybody that watched the game. Was DeAnda, and head coach Nate Rasmussen told us he tweaked his hammy, and Mason White's going to come out of the game.
Pinch runner is Matisse Miron, running at first base for Mason White, the native of France, Miron.
There's a lot of thinking going on by Chip Hale right there. He's wanted to get him out of the game, number one, to keep him off the field. We're going to play another game tomorrow. But and also very similar to a pitcher that's thrown very well. You'll have him go back out when the game gets out of reach, and then you get him the ovation. Now, granted, there's not a lot of people in the stands, but effectively, I think that's what Chip Hale wanted to do right there. Of course, everybody here in Eugene.
There is DeAnda. Seemed to injure his right leg when swung at strike 3 in a pitch that bounced and tried to get to first, and he pulled up lame, crossing the bag there to end the bottom of the second inning.
But I think I think everybody in Eugene thought these stands were going to be full tonight with their Ducks playing.
Rounded to third, deep behind the bag. Dominic Longo across to first for the out. One gone in the ninth. Aaron Walton takes third as Matisse Miron moves up to second.
Not an easy play, and Longo to second made it look easy.
Iris Maddox Mikalakis, 0 for 4, has been hit by a pitch.
What do you always have? There's always that one person, right, in that lineup. That was me. And what we're referring to is there's always one person in a lineup when your team goes off offensively that doesn't have a hit.
Fooled by a changeup. 1-1 on Maddox Mikalakis. Just missed from Jacob Beltran. 2-1 on Mikalakis here with one out in the ninth. Game times tomorrow. Elimination game, game 5. 3 p.m. local start, 6 Eastern. Or Cal Poly against more than likely Utah Valley. I'm really putting myself out there. And then the regional final, game 6 tomorrow night. And I guess since it's past midnight on the East Coast, I can say later tonight for our friends watching in the Eastern time zone.
Yes.
10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific for Arizona against the winner of that elimination game between Utah Valley and Cal Poly. Full count on Mikalakis, 1 out. The pitch. And it's ball 4. Mikalakis walks. They're loaded. Here's Garen Caulfield, who homered his last time. But a mound visit first. Appears to be activity in the bullpen for UVU. So while they have a Mound Conference, it gives me a chance to let you know again. The NCAA Baseball Regionals coverage for all 16 sites continues tomorrow on ESPN Plus and the ESPN app. For more information, visit ncaa.com. Your home for all 90 NCAA championships. So the mound visit, that is the head coach Nate Rasmussen out to the mound. And now goes back to the first base dugout.
What a great trip. I mean, the more you watch Nate Rasmussen and the more you talk to him, he's a baseballer. He's a lifer. And he went out there to talk to his senior and said, you know what? This is fun. Think about it. You're not coming out of the game. I'm just telling you how proud I am of you. Just to remind him he's a part of this staff. He's a part of this club. And you saw his teammates pat him on the back. You saw his middle infielders pat him on the back. I mean, this is the beauty of college sports. It really is. And all throughout the country.
1-0 on Caulfield. And it just missed off the outside edge.
There's already been 16 clubs that are done for the season. And how many seniors were on those 16 teams? And
you could see the emotions from Oregon today.
Yeah, you could see them. And it will happen throughout this weekend where it hits you as a player. Is this the last time I'm ever going to play and put a baseball uniform on? Some will be fortunate enough to go on to get an opportunity in pro ball, but the majority do not.
Strike 2 called. Evens the count, 2-2 on Caulfield. Bases full. First time, by the way, Arizona has loaded the bases tonight. The 2-2. Strike 3 called to Caulfield. 2 gone in the ninth. Here comes Andrew Kane for the Wildcats.
That's a nice little slider by Beltran on the outside part. Caulfield didn't like it.
Andrew Kane has walked twice, scored 2 runs. He is 0 for 3. Beltran the pitch. And that's ball 1. (14-4) Arizona. Wildcats, Big 12 tournament champs. 1-1 on Kane. As they went 3-0 in Arlington, Texas last week. Trying for their 7th straight win. 2-1. The Wildcats getting hot at the right time. They went 18-12 in their first run through this season in the Big 12. Kane pops it up behind third. Coming in from left and making a diving catch in shallow left. Jaden Smith makes the catch to retire the side. Arizona leaves them loaded. We're going to the bottom of the 9th. 10-run lead for Arizona. 3 outs from a regional final. Arizona 3 outs away from moving into the regional final here in Eugene. 14-4. They lead Utah Valley, and Arizona has hit a single game program record 8 home runs here tonight. 1 defensive change for the Wildcats, make it 2 changes as Matisse Miron, who ran for Mason White, stays in to play shortstop. And a new right fielder for Arizona, taking over for Brendan Summerhill out there. That's TJ Adams. Pinch hitter for Utah Valley to open up the bottom of the ninth. Joseph Barnhart will lead it off, batting for Dominic Longo the second. And a line drive out toward right center. And that falls in for a hit, and it skips up against the wall and over the wall. Opposite field, a rule book double. And Joseph Barnhart aboard to start the bottom of the ninth.
The junior backup catcher comes right off the bench. Pitch one.
And first pitch ambushes Michael Hilkert Jr. That's the first hit for Utah Valley since a leadoff single in the fourth. Another pinch hitter for Utah Valley. And a called strike to Derek Houston. Batting for Nate Bach. Barnhart at second base. Hilker drops it in there. It's 0-2. Fifth hit for Utah Valley. Barnhart at second. And the 0-2 is grounded. Diving stop at short. Mirant to his feet. Skips it to first base. And Matisse Mirant with a highlight reel play.
Boy, middle guys continue to do things that are just amazing to me. Mirant's been sitting on the bench for 8 innings, and this is the effort and play you get from him. This is just superstar stuff.
Landon Zaborowski pinch hitting for Utah Valley here with 1 out. As Nate Rasmussen getting some guys in at bat here late, getting him into an NCAA tournament game. And he waves at a breaking ball from Michael Hilker Jr. for strike 1.
The biggest part of that play by Mirant, Roxy, is not that he caught the ball. It's how quickly he got back on his feet to throw it.
0-2 on Zaborowski. Is Mirant the native of France? Went to Cochise Junior College in Arizona prior to U of A. Three pitches and a strikeout. Hilker punches out Zaborowski, and there's 2 outs. And C.J. Collier will try to keep it going for the Wolverines. Strike 1 to Collier. And the contingent of Arizona fans making some noise.
On their feet.
Collier tonight 0 for 3 with an RBI. 1 strike pitch, fouled away. The Wildcats 1 strike away from advancing to the regional final in Eugene. Michael Hilker Jr. struck him out. Ball game in Arizona. 8 straight wins for the Wildcats. And Arizona is in the regional final here in Eugene.
Well, they brought their bats today after getting just 2 hits yesterday against Cal Poly, albeit they got the W yesterday. Today, 14 runs on 19 hits, highlighted by Mason White's 3 home run game. And can't say enough about the bullpen work that the Wildcats got from Casey Hines and then Michael Hickler Jr. Just tremendous tonight for the Wildcats.
Casey Hintz, Michael Hilker Jr., 6 scoreless innings of 1 hit relief. As you look at the updated bracket for the Eugene Regional. And the Wildcats in the regional final. Early tomorrow, or earlier, I should say, our mid-afternoon game, an elimination game. Cal Poly, Utah Valley. And the winner of that game will advance to the regional final and play the Wildcats as Arizona in a regional final. Win number 42 and a program record 8 home runs for the Wildcats in the ball game in this 14-4 victory over Utah Valley. Joined by one of the sluggers for the Wildcats, Mason White, joining us from the field. And Mason, congratulations.
Thank you.
A big win. And yesterday was interesting because you didn't get much offense. You found a way to win. A little bit different tonight. What was the key offensively?
Just being aggressive, just coming out and taking the fight to them, honestly. Just coming out and trying to throw the first punch, and I think we did that.
Mace, what's been the difference with you the last couple of weeks from the Big 12 tournament and then you transition right into today? What's been the change? Is it a mental thing? Is it an approach thing? What is it?
I just love the postseason. I love the pressure, and I love the competition we face every night. It's a new season, basically, so I absolutely love it.
How has your role just as a leader, Mason, changed with this group? And look, you started as a freshman, now playing shortstop, one of the elder statesmen. How have you changed as far as a presence on this team?
Yeah, they're looking at me to start it off, like throwing the first punch like tonight. Just doing that and setting the tone early and letting the guys behind me and maybe the younger guys that might be a little more timid, but just letting them know, like, let's go, like we're in the game. So I'll step up and I'll be the one to do it.
What's it going to be like now coming to the yard tomorrow, knowing for the first time in Chip Hale's tenure and your tenure at University of Arizona, you have an opportunity to move on to a super?
Yeah, it's going to be just like every other game. We've played in a lot of big games this year. It's just another one. So we're just going to actually enjoy it and just have a blast doing it and just keep rolling.
Well, a big night, Mason. Enjoy it. Congratulations. We'll see you in the regional final tomorrow.
Thank you, guys.
Nice going.
Mason White, 3 of Arizona's program record, 8 homers, a 14-4 win, and everything was great for Arizona. Not just the offense, the pitching, and a big win in Arizona in the regional final.
It's just a very well-played baseball game by the Arizona Wildcats. You see Chip Hale talking to his club. Arizona, for the 31st time, Roxy, reaches a regional final.
14-4, Arizona with the win. For my partner, Wes Clements, and our outstanding crew, Roxy Bernstein from Eugene. So long. We'll see you tomorrow. The Eugene Regional.